Yes. Good morning. What a weekend, huh? Tigers, they figured out how to get that offense alive. Defense, but that was a pretty darn good North Texas offense. We got a World Series. TV's going to love this one. Number one market, number two market. Shohei against Judge. The two MVPs. You know, Brian Dacus, the baseball guy in here, do you know the last time you had two MVPs taking on one another?
Jeez, I couldn't tell you.
I can.
All right, when was it?
1980. You weren't born.
Holy cow, you're right. I was not born.
It was the Kansas City Royals and George Brett against the Philadelphia Phillies and Mike Schmidt. And in that World Series, Philly got the better of the Royals. But what a World Series we've got going. Seriously, the number one market, number two market, and those two guys, I think they are baseball's best, too. I think they're the most salaried two teams as well, which goes hand in hand. It should be a beauty. We're going to actually talk about that at about 10:28 today with our friend, our baseball guy, Tim Doolin. Will end the day because there's two Monday night football games, including the Buccaneers of Tampa Bay taking on Baltimore. TJ Reeves will join us to end the night. Before I talk a little bit about the Tigers football game, I got to tip my cap to Bryant Dacus, although I wasn't far behind. Bryant Dacus in the picking contest this week, perfect. 5
How about that?
and 0. You know, I was 4-1. So
That's
you know
right.
what that means since you've joined?
Uh-huh.
We've had 2 weeks of picking.
That's right.
We are both 8-2.
Wow.
I would take 80%.
I would too, yeah.
Any day of the week. Let me just say, my numbers now over this whole football season, 22-8.
Wow.
Both of us now 8-2 since we started. We'll do 5 more again on Friday. So here's the way the football game opens. North Texas wins, they defer. Memphis has lost like the last 4 coin tosses. They can't win a toss. So what do? They're I want to say, going into that game, their first quarters were like 45-7. They have had leads, which is part of the reason why they've somewhat played conservatively this year until this game, where they, didn't have to play catch up. They were getting ahead and trying to milk the clock. This game starts, nice drive after they lose the toss, 5-6 minute drive, touchdown. Kick out of the end zone, because that's exactly what Tristan Vandenberg does. Like 35 out of 38 kicks now. He's amazing. And he's now the field goal kicker, which I think is a good thing. And then they open up with a jet sweep, and a kid from Corinth, Mississippi, who won a national title with Northwest Mississippi Junior College, D.T. Sheffield, 75-yard jet sweep touchdown. We're tied at 7. Tigers get the ball right back. Nice 5-minute drive, 14-7. Vandenberg, touchback. 1st and 10, 25-yard line. Slant pattern, D.T. Sheffield, the kid from Corinth again. They list him at 5'10". I don't think he's that big. In fact, some people said that he might have wanted to be a Tiger and that the staff might have thought he was too small.
Oh, wow.
He wasn't too small against the Tigers. The second play, a slant pass, 75 yards and a touchdown. I have never seen that, where to start a game, a guy had 2 plays, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. 1 catching, 1 running. Unbelievable. And by the way, he hadn't run a ball the whole year. Not the whole year. He was their best receiver. And he, I don't know if in losing you can be the offensive player of the week, but I'd put him up there. Also, Chandler Morris, that kid, man. They had 600-plus yards. This is the second time I've seen a team get 600 yards in a game and lose. The other was Memphis against Navy. It was unbelievable. unbelievable. But the Tigers' defense, when they had to, finally made it stop. Who else but Chandler Martin with an interception in the end zone to finally put the game away, 52-44. What a football game it was. Now they got Charlotte. They're already 18-point favorites in that game. There's some interesting games for sure that are coming up this week. Tulane is at North Texas. Now, Tulane almost lost to Rice at home this week. They seem to be going a little backwards. This North Texas team, if they play the way they did against Memphis, has a chance to beat them. Tulane, I think, is a slight favorite in that game. And then Notre Dame at Navy. And I can't wait to see that. I think I'm going to pull for Navy. Although, you know what? It probably helps Memphis if Notre Dame wins. I don't know. I'm not sure 100% on that. Because maybe you want to play Navy. If somebody can beat Army, maybe you want to play Navy in the final game of the year. Get a rematch of a game that was a one-score. Well, Memphis was driving to win the game until the pick six. So, anyway, that's coming up this week. Lots of good games in the SEC. John Thompson, our coach, off this week. We'll have him back next week. We'll get into that in just a minute. One last Tiger note. It's basketball. Of course, the Tigers play a week from today in Huntsville against Alabama. Can't wait for that game. Tyreek Smith, the kid that transferred from SMU, all kinds of reports on social media that he's leaving the team disgruntled because he did not start in the game against North Carolina. And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? Seriously, are you kidding me? You played a bunch of minutes. You got points. You look pretty good. It's an exhibition game. It's the first game of the year. And I wanted to see all the other social media out there to see if Tyreek Smith, who posts, if he had said something about this. And what he has posted was, stop on the way to the North Carolina game and I'm not going to give him a free advertisement, at this place. You know, so he's getting NIL money from there.
Love that.
Then the post before that was, come see me at a meet and greet that's sponsored by FedEx. Ooh. That's 2 NIL big deals right there. He's making money. You're telling me because you didn't start in an exhibition game, and there's so many more games to come, the odds are, if you keep playing the way you did, and I love Nicholas Jourdain, but his defense was terrible against North Carolina, the odds are you got a shot, you will get a start. But you're going to leave for that? Now, we don't really know all the particulars. You got one guy mostly that has reported this on social media that he left the team. There's another report that's saying he asked Penny for a day or two off to regroup. We'll have to wait and see. I guess Tyreek Smith is to be determined. I'm sitting in the Family Leisure Studios, and they got all kinds of sales going on. I think they got a fall sale going on. Now we know they still got the hot tub, the spa sale, the world's biggest spa sale going on, where you can save thousands on those in-stock hot tubs. Like the spas start at under $2,900. The cold plunge is the new thing, under $4,000. And the swim spa is the Cadillac, where you can swim or like a huge hot tub. $17,499 with special financing available. All these sales going on where family and fun come together. That's I-40 and Wooden Road. That's Family Leisure. Mondays we're busy because we do a thing called Precious Metals. I got a lot. I'm going to start with Vanderbilt. They're now 5-2. And did you see they are in both?
Yeah, they are.
The polls, the AP poll, the coaches poll. I always forget what's the title of the coaches poll. The coaches have a title.
That's right. Yeah, I forget what it is, but yeah, it is.
Do they get any money for that? Or they divvy that up
I don't know.
amongst all these coaches?
I don't know how much money it'd be if they're divvying it up amongst all of them.
So they're now 5-2, and they're 25th in the country in both polls. 4 games to win one more. We will not be giddy about Vandy next week. Because you know who they have next week?
Texas, the Horns.
At home.
It was a look-ahead game for Texas. They were too worried about Vanderbilt.
What a bad spot for Vandy to be in. The Longhorns are going to want to murder them after that performance against Georgia. That is for sure. I mean, Georgia was pretty darn good. I'm giving a bronze medal to the Detroit Lions. They beat Minnesota yesterday. Now, here's the crazy reason why. You know how they say prevent defenses, prevent wins? Mm-hmm. I hate it. Hate it when teams down the stretch have a lead. It could be a touchdown lead. And what do? They rush two guys. They allow the quarterback to set up and throw long balls. How many Hail Marys are completed because they don't put a rush on? So in the end of this game, there's one more play. Minnesota has a chance to try to get in the end zone. They're at their own 48-yard line, something like that. Look, any NFL guy near the midfield stripe, he's got an arm that can get that ball to the end zone. Then it's a toss-up. You got the best receiver in the game, the best rebounder in the game. There's a chance you could still win the game. Just get it to the end zone high enough, right? If you got time. And all these teams give you the time. It drives me nuts. I can't stand it. If I were a DC, I'd be sending 5. Guess what the Detroit Lions did yesterday?
What's that?
They sent 5. And guess what? Sam Darnold didn't have time to throw it to the end zone. In fact, Sam Darnold got sacked to end the game. Bronze medal to the DC of the Detroit Lions for having the cojones and the smarts to rush 5 and put the game away. Georgia dominates Texas. Back to number 2 in the poll. Tennessee in a great game, now number 7 after their comeback win over Alabama. That was back and forth. Boy, in the first half, both those quarterbacks just looked awful. And then they both kind of righted the ship, and in particular, the Tennessee freshman, Iamaleava. And here's Tennessee a winner.
Oh, what a throw by him, that last touchdown.
Yeah,
holy cow.
I know. So, Georgia back to number 2, Tennessee to number 7. Both obviously still very much alive in the playoff picture. I've been meaning to look. Just quickly, let's just take a look at Tennessee's schedule the rest of the way. So they got a week off. Then they play Kentucky at home, Mississippi State at home. They got Georgia in Athens. I think they can afford to lose that game as long as Georgia wins out.
Right.
Then UTEP, and then Vandy and Nashville. I'm telling you. I think Tennessee just won themselves a spot in the playoffs. That's how big that win was yesterday. Or Saturday. So those two teams, Georgia and Tennessee, get a silver medal. The World Series gets a silver medal, and I'll tell you why. The two teams that have played each other the most in the World Series are the Dodgers and the Yankees. This will be their 12th meeting overall. But you know when the last one was? Brian Dacus, this is another one of those 80s questions. You were not born.
Wow.
1981.
Interesting.
And when you got the 2 MVPs and the 1 and 2 markets, I only give it a silver because there's too many good things to go gold. So it gets a silver, and again, we'll be talking with Tim Doolin in a bit about that. And then I have 2 golds. Mario Anderson, a redemption game for him, a contrite young man who got ejected in the second quarter last 2 weeks ago for spitting on a player. A despicable thing is what his coach said about it. He was absolutely contrite, accepted whatever Ryan was going to give him. He knew he had done wrong. And Mario Anderson had 22 carries, 183 yards, and 4 touchdowns. I think 2017 was the last time a running back had 4 touchdowns. I think that ties the school record. 4 touchdowns in a single game. He really and truly was brilliant. And I got to share that gold medal with Seth Hennigan. He had another 300-yard game. But here's the key, and I've been trying. I couldn't find out the number. Maybe you can really quick. Seth Hennigan, with that win, whatever it is in his career, became the winningest player ever in the history of the school. I mean, you don't get many guys that start 4 straight years, especially now with the portal, so this may never get broken. But Seth Hennigan, with that win, and we'll count it up here in a second, he is the winningest player ever to put on the blue and the gray.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Huh.
It is special.
That is very special.
And then my final gold medal goes to the New York Liberty. They won their first WNBA title. They've had chances before. They are the first professional basketball team in the New York area to win a title since well before you were born, 1973.
Wow.
We're talking 51 years.
Wow.
New York City's been a desert when it comes to really good basketball. They had it this time. Although this was their 6th title game. 0-5 in championship series. Finally, they get it, and actually, they're getting a ticker tape parade today. I guess in the financial district, isn't that where they normally do this? They don't do it on Broadway. They do it on
that's right.
Fifth Avenue or something, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. So they're going to get that today. Congratulations to the New York Liberty.
Wow, yeah, no, that was a fun game last night, the final game in the WNBA. I'll start with my bronze medals. I have 2 bronze medals to give out. The first one goes to the Tennessee Volunteers. You already mentioned them, just their performance against Alabama. They go down, but they're able to come back and get that win. Really fun scene. I had a bunch of friends that were sending me pictures and videos of them during the game, after the game, on the field, everything. It was a fun scene in Knoxville. My other bronze medal goes to Alabama. And Dave, you might be wondering, how in the world could you give a bronze medal to Alabama?
Can you give a medal to a team with 15 penalties in the game?
It's a great question. It's not going to their football team, Dave. It's going to the basketball team.
Oh, the one that the Tigers are playing a week from today?
That is correct. They had a charity exhibition Friday night against Wake Forest, beat them by 21 points. How about this? It was without Grant Nelson, who I think is a good player, was up and down last year. I think he'll be better this year. And Chris Youngblood, who came over from USF, 46 of their 69 field goals were 3-point attempts, and they made 19 of them. So they're going to be a team that lives and dies by the 3, it looks like, this year, and they certainly lived by it.
Mark Sears played in that game, though,
He did. Mark Sears looked really good. Aiden Holloway, who transferred over from Auburn, looked really good. So
since you bring up, you got the USF transfer. He was not the best player on the USF team.
No,
what happened? It was the tall kid from Chicago.
The Cason Pryor?
Cason Pryor.
He's at Louisville.
Oh, he's at Louisville.
Yeah, he is, yeah. He's going to be a Cardinal. How about that?
Wonder what they paid him.
Well, that's a good question. Probably a lot of money. So those are my 2 bronze. My silver goes to the Chiefs. The win they had yesterday against the 49ers. Dave, on Friday, we both picked the Chiefs. We felt very good about them against the San Francisco team, and it was all Chiefs yesterday afternoon.
Oh, come on now. That was the worst game I've ever seen Patrick Mahomes play.
Well, but they didn't need him. How about that?
Well, that's because Brock Purdy played worse.
Yeah, Brock Purdy didn't look very good. I didn't want to go that far, but you're right. He did not look great. And then my gold medals, I have 2 of them. My first one goes to Georgia. The win they had over Texas. What a performance by them. They get up so big. You saw both quarterbacks for Texas play. That Georgia defense looked really, really good.
Did you ever in your life think Ewers would come out and Manning would come in? And then they brought Ewers back in.
It's crazy. It was rough for Texas, but I think you're right. I think they're going to be out for blood this weekend in Nashville. My other gold goes to Brady Cook. The Georgia game on Saturday morning against Auburn. They come out. Missouri looks okay. Brady Cook ends up injuring his ankle. He leaves the game. Turns out we learned later in the game that they took him to the hospital that's right around the corner.
Stadium.
He left the stadium, went to the hospital, had his ankle checked out. They said, you probably shouldn't play the rest of the game, but it's up to you. He goes, I'm going back in that game. Comes back. His team is down in the 4th quarter. They come all the way back and beat Auburn. Really, really cool to see. That place was rocking. And Brady Cook, a gamer.
There's a story like that in Memphis's lore, too. It was a game in Crump Stadium against Mississippi State. It's a quarterback, and I'm having a brain fart here. I can't remember his name. He was running the football. He was a great player. And they had like steps down to the locker room.
Yeah.
Too close to the sideline. He got knocked in. I think it was a late hit. He got knocked down the stairs. They took him over to the hospital, which was right across the street.
Right.
He came back, rallied the Tigers to a win over Mississippi State. That was in Crump Stadium many, many years ago. So there was another story, and Cook was terrific in this game.
He was fantastic. Their backup, not so good, but when he came back, he gave them the spark that they needed.
That's your last?
That's my last medal.
Okay. Now, Rust. I'm going to give, it's like a double Rust. Okay? I'm going to give a Rust to the WNBA refs in the Liberty win because they really did help out the Liberty. If you go back and look at the highlights here, they basically missed 2 calls at the end of regulation that allows Brianna Stewart, who I think is my favorite player in that league, either her or Caitlin or Boston. I like her too
she's
a lot.
Good, yeah.
She walks. They don't call that. There is the most minimal contact that is made. They call whoop, whistle, 2 shots. Stewart makes them both. They go to overtime. She didn't deserve the 2 free throws. That's a missed call. And then Cheryl Reeve, the Minnesota coach who lost the game and challenged that particular play, she didn't have a good look either. I'm kind of giving her a Rust, although I sort of understand it, but you got to keep your cool. She goes, they stole that S. The refs stole the S. She made one really good point, and I think the WNBA now is probably expense, but they should do this. If you think about it, when there's a challenge in an NBA game, what do? They go to the desk, they turn around the replay thing, and they're talking to a group in New York. Major League Baseball does this too. They're talking to these referees, these observers, these replay experts, rule experts in New York who help them to determine what happened. Cheryl Reeve called that a third party, and I think she's spot on. These 3 referees make that call. They don't want to overturn their own call.
Right.
Unless it's like something on the line that is absolutely indisputable. So they didn't overturn it. And she's right in saying there needs to be a third party in these decisions. All the other leagues are doing it. Why not the WNBA? So I think she's right about that, but a bad look to use the S word about how they stole it in a championship game in your own league? Ooh, not a good look for the WNBA. 2 ways, not a good look.
Not a good look at all. Is that the only rust you had?
That's it.
Oh, wow. Okay, so short rust for you.
Looks like you got a lot of rust.
I have a couple rusts.
Mine was a double rust.
That's true. You did give 2 rusts out, but they both had to do the same thing. My first rust goes to the TCU-Utah game. Dave, I don't know if you stayed up Saturday night long enough to watch this one. This was the 9:30 game on ESPN.
Well, I watched the first half.
Oh, man. I should have only watched the first half. This is one of the worst games I've ever seen in my life. I mean, neither offense could get anything going. 13-7 was the final score. How about this, Dave? The 2 teams combined 6 for 32 on third downs. I mean, just could not get anything. It was a punt fest. Not a fun game to watch. But
sometimes that can be misleading because I don't think North Texas had a third down conversion until the fourth quarter because they didn't need them.
Very different. This was a whole lot of third down opportunities and very little success. My second rust goes to the Jets. They add Devontae Adams. Still can't get anything going against the Steelers. Everybody was throwing their money at the Jets last night, and it was all Steelers. My final rust, and this is really what I wanted to get to, Jay Cutler was arrested for a DUI early Friday morning, the wee hours of the morning in Franklin, Tennessee. I didn't know he was living out there, but he's living out in Franklin.
He's a Vandy guy. He's an
That's
Asheville
true.
dude.
That's true. So he's living out there. He gets arrested for a DUI, but here's where it gets a little worse. He had possession of 2 weapons while under the influence, which is a big no-no as well. But the biggest thing, my biggest takeaway, Jay Cutler offered the other driver that he hit, sounded like it was just a small fender bender, but the other driver saw that he was drunk and called the police. Jay Cutler offered the other driver $2,000 to not call the police for the DUI. Should have offered more. He's got the bread. That should have taken the money.
You know what? I've always said this based on his smarts as a Chicago Bear. For a guy who went to Vandy, a quarterback in the NFL, he's the dumbest Vandy grad ever. Jay Cutler, the dumbest Vandy grad ever.
100%.
I believe that. And those are our good and our bad medals for the week. Brought to you by Gator Patrol, which is always good. That's the newest from Grind City Brewing. I love Grind City. I love going down there. You can see concerts and how the weather's incredible. It's a great venue. It's a taste of Memphis, and they just keep adding. Gator Patrol is a tangerine cream sour. Sweet, tart, refreshing. So what they've done is basically they've taken this bright and juicy tangerine sweetness and perfectly balanced it with a subtle hint of cream. So if you like the creams, if you like sour, you're going to love the newest Grind City Brewing's Tangerine Cream Sour. It's called Gator Patrol. We take a break. When we come back, we talk one of the great World Series I think we're going to see in a long time. The 12th time for the Dodgers and the Yankees. And Tim Doolin talks all about it in a minute.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Fall is football at the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland, Town Square. Monday through Friday is happy hour from 3 to 6 with $1 off all draft meals, $5 off well drinks, $4.50 for house wine, and half off pretzel bites, mozzarella sticks, queso, corn dogs, and pickles. Vinegar Friday night lights from 7 to close. Dine in and buy 12 wings and get 5 regular wings for free. Come watch college football and every pro game on the weekend. All at the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland, Town Square. Highway 70. Fall is football.
Summer may be over, but yard work, it goes on. Don't worry, Colonial Hardware makes it easy for you. Colonial Hardware has all the lawn and garden tools you need from the best brands in the business. Ferris, Snapper, Husqvarna, Toro, Echo, Shindaiwa, and Billigo. Servicing most brands of lawn equipment, Colonial's master service techs will keep you going year-round. Colonial Hardware, family-owned and operated, and serving you for nearly 50 years. Thanks to Mass Pro and Lincoln at Sycamore View, and online at colonialhardwareinc.com.
It's here, Genesis Diamonds, the largest ever sale in luxury. So you can't miss this special 2-day event this Friday and Saturday. During this event, you can take advantage of special pricing, zero interest financing, and a stunning selection of luxury hundreds of Husks, Submariners, Daytonas, Pepsi, hottest model Rolex watches that you can't find anywhere else. Luxury premium Rolexes are in pristine, light-new condition, some just out of the box. Price to sell is and only at Genesis Diamonds, Poplar and Perkins Extended.
I'm Kevin Harlan from Monday Night Football on Westwood One. We'll have great matchups all season long on the road to the playoffs and Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. Join Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner and me for one of the NFL's great traditions, Monday Night Football on Westwood One.
Right here on Sports 56.
All right, gentlemen, this is Emmett Smith on behalf of the Pen, and I've got the perfect play. Run straight to your doctor's office for a life-changing gift, because when prostate cancer is caught early, it's up to 99% treatable, and one blood test might be all it takes. And now through November, the Pen is donating to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for select purchases. Talk about a great play.
From September 1st to November 30th, the Pen is donating 30 cents to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for differentiated yards vehicle products purchased in the U.S. up to a maximum of $400,000 void in Mississippi.
Wendy's breakfast burrito has an entire breakfast in every bite. Fresh cracked eggs, seasoned potatoes, American cheese sauce, and sausage or bacon. So the first bite is like fresh cracked American cheese, bacon. And the second bite is like fresh cracked American cheese, bacon. You get the idea. And now, get yours with $1 any size soft drink. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Exclusions apply.
I got to thank several people who texted me. Remember, Brian, I was talking about that great Memphis quarterback.
That's right.
Who went shoved down the stairs, went to the hospital, came back and rallied his team over Mississippi State when the Tigers played in Crump Stadium. It was Russ Vollmer. So thank you all who let me know. And this just in, the American Athletic Conference Player of the Week has been named on offense and defense. It could have been Mario Anderson, you know? It could have been Chandler Morris. Instead, for the third straight week in a row, it's the Army quarterback, Bryson Daly.
Good player.
Wow, listen to these numbers. He ran for 171 yards and 5 touchdowns. And he also threw 7 of 10 for 147 yards and a touchdown. So he accounted for 6 TDs in Army's win. Third straight week in a row he's made it. The defensive player of the week was Deshaun Peel, a guy who had a pick six. I think he had 2 pick sixes in that game that Navy won. It was 38-0 at the half in that game. And so this is the first week that I know of that you had the Army Offensive Player of the Week, Navy Defensive Player of the Week. It's also the first time this late into the season that Army and Navy are undefeated since, this is before I was born. This is 1926. We're getting close to it. That's 98 years. Wow, it's crazy stuff. That is absolutely for sure. All right, we're going to talk baseball, World Series. Tim Doolin's our man. We'll talk to him in a second. He's brought to you by Southern Security. Whether you're a small business owner, maybe a single mom buying your first home, Southern Security is the place you got to go. It's your trusted financial partner for over 75 years. Southern Security has been serving the Mid-South community with unbelievable rates. They're unbeatable. Service that is top-notch, and always the newest technology. Wait till you see the bank they're going to build in Collierville. They've already broken ground. It's outstanding. It's been voted the best credit union in the Mid-South for 6 consecutive years. To find out how you can join the Southern Security family, 2 ways. One, you can go to southernsecurity.org, like everybody. Or if you want to talk to a person, a team member, just call. You actually get a person at 901-452-7900. Southern Security, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the 901 women. Southern Security, your home team credit union, federally insured by NCUA. Let's talk with our baseball man. That would be Tim Doolin, who's Dodgers, not the Doolin Dodgers, the real Dodgers, but he's got some friends on that team. Up against the Yankees. This is 1 and 2 TV markets, Tim Doolin. This is for the first time since 1980 when George Brett and Mike Schmidt went at it. It'll be the first time that the American League MVP, most likely Aaron Judge, against the National League MVP, most likely Shohei Ohtani. That's how good this World Series should be, their 12th meeting. What say you, my friend? Good morning.
Good morning. We got kind of what we wished for. I'm super excited to see how crazy these ratings are going to be because, yeah, you got the 2 potential probable MVPs this year, but you've got several other players on both teams that are MVP caliber. Obviously, Mookie Betts is one of those guys. You got probably one of the next highest paid guy that's going to break the bank in Soto next year in free agency.
Oh, man. And
so,
what a big hit he had, huh?
Oh, my. And this guy's a primetime player. And, you know, it's been a few years, but this guy's a World Series champion too. So I was looking at the lineup this morning and kind of going through, kind of comparing, each position, each player. I don't know that there's been a more balanced World Series as far as lineups go in recent history, and it's going to be interesting. I tell you, the one thing that concerns you is, as hot as both of these teams are, we're going to be taking 5 days off. I can assure you these guys would like to take a couple of days off, but they're ready to get back on the field the way they're playing, especially offensively.
Well, a guy like Freddie Freeman, I know he wants more time off. He's got that.
Yeah, there's no question it's going to bode well for the Dodgers having Freddie get 4 days off, really 5 because he took the last 2 days off. But it's super exciting, and you got to give really the Dodgers front office and Dave Roberts credit for how they really had to manage their pitching staff over the last 3 games and staff it and get what they got from their bullpen last night. But offensively, I tell you what, these Dodgers they're playing remarkable, and we haven't even talked about the MVP of the series, Tommy Edmonds. What a pickup he was from right there at the trade deadline, and really didn't play all year, and just brought a sense of energy that I think this club really needed, in the sense that this guy's a switch hitter. He can play multiple positions. He runs well. He can steal bases. He puts balls in play, and obviously comes up clutch in big moments throughout this whole series. So it's going to be a great World Series. I can't wait.
Well, I think we go back to the LCS. You want a drama. Game 3 was one of the best baseball games I've watched in a long time, where you got a rookie after the the Guardians had blown a 3-1 lead. A rookie comes on with 2 outs in the 9th and hits a 2-run homer to tie it. And then David Fry hits a 2-run homer to win it in the 10th. And that was amazing to keep Cleveland in it. And then Soto hits the home run to win Game 5. I mean, it was incredible. Last night, more home runs. The Dodgers win in 6 because Edman, you just mentioned, hits the home run. Will Smith hit a home run, 10-5 final. So you're talking about a lot of excitement, even though you did think the favorites, the Yankees, and then the Dodgers over what was a very hot Mets team, you kind of figured you'd get it. But I thought the LCSs were pretty entertaining.
Oh, to your point, there's no question they were entertaining, and you got to give credit to the Mets and the Guardians for making it as interesting as they did. And it was just like a heavyweight boxing match that just went back and forth, toe to toe, and every time one team would answer, then the other team would come right back and answer, and super exciting. And the one thing, Wolo, is these games, especially as it got deeper into both of these series, they were never over, and so fans weren't leaving watching the game when it was 6-1 in the 4th inning. It's like, we better stay tuned because there's more coming, and it did, and it happened.
Well, all right, so you mentioned it. I'm going to have you match up this thing here in a second. I don't know who's got more firepower, okay? So you've got Shohei, who's the best player in the game in my estimation, and I'm not even counting his pitching right now. You've got Mookie. You've got, as we mentioned, Freddie Freeman. You got so many good players over there, Edmund. And then you got the Yankees with Judge, Stanton, Soto. I love Rizzo because of what he did for the Cubs. There's so many great baseball players that are going to go at one another. I can't remember a more glamorous World Series than the one we're about to watch, I got a feeling.
No, I agree. I tell you, the only thing that really sticks out to me, Wolo, is if you look at the Yankees and all those guys you just mentioned, superstars and all their right, there's a lot of swing and miss in there.
Yeah.
And there's more swing and miss in that lineup than there is the Dodgers. And so as we talk about it year after year, week after week, these series are going to come down to, you're going to face really good pitchers. There's with high level velocity and unbelievable spin rate with breaking balls. I just think if you're going to give the edge, you got to give a slight edge to the Dodgers for the simple fact that they're playing a blended version of the National League and the American League game with putting balls in play, executing bunts, moving runners over, coming up with big base hits, and then yet they're also hitting balls over the fence. And I think for that reason, I think you got to give the Dodgers the edge. I still think it's going to go 6 games. It might go 7, but it's going. And then really, it's going to come down to who pitches it really well. And both clubs are pitching really well right now.
All right, match that up a little bit. The pitching and then the stars.
Well, I think the pitching. Both clubs have really good starting pitching, but both of their strengths is in their bullpen. I think the one key thing that, if there's a concern, is Buehler going to be able to give the Dodgers 2 quality starts? He's coming off of Tommy John. He's pitched really well in this series and got a lot of swing and misses. He's going to have to be able to command that breaking ball. So I really think the pitching staffs both are pretty equal. And then if you start, you go through the lineup, I think, both catchers are good. I don't think you give either team the nod there. Freddie Freeman, I probably got to give him the nod over your guy Rizzo, because there's just too much swing and miss in Rizzo. And if Freddie Freeman's even 90%, he's going to give you quality at bat after quality at bat.
Yeah, but Riz is a nicer guy.
He's going to be. Yeah, that's true. When you go around the lineup, I think third base, it's even though Chaz Chisholm is an explosive player, the Dodgers have a guy that's playing really good in Muncy. And then you go to shortstop. You got to give the edge to Tommy Edmonds over Volpe. Volpe's a good player, but he doesn't bring as much to the table as Edmonds does. And then second base, I think that it's kind of a toss up. And then you go to the outfield, and it's like Mookie Betts and Soto, but that's a wash.
Wow.
You go Judge, you got to give Judge the nod there. And then left field is kind of evenly balanced. So it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be a great World Series, and I don't think you're going to see any team dominate the other unless it gets down to. I think it's going to get down to the 6th or 7th game.
I kind of with you, and I kind of lean toward the Dodgers too. Dodgers in 6 or 7, just like you. Can't wait to talk about it next week. Thank you, my friend. This is going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. Thanks, Wolo.
Thank you. That's our man, Tim Doolin, brought to you in part by the Eflin Insurance Team. Matt, he's a big Tiger guy. He used to love Tim Doolin when he was a player. Matt is just a smart guy. He figures out different ways to protect you because that's his game. It's insurance. And he's got to know you, collaborate with you to do that. So he's going to sit you down, learn about your family, learn all about you, and then figure out your budget and then protect your home, your auto, and your future with life insurance. But he's got to know you to do it. Same thing with business. Small to mid-sized business, that's the Eflin Insurance specialty. He's going to know you, your employees, your product, forecast your business out. And then what's your budget? Figure out the perfect commercial protection and get that commercial insurance. It's real easy. He gets to know you so he can protect you. It's the collaborative way. That's what they do with the Eflin Insurance Team. We pause for a second. When we come back to Tampa, we go. It's Monday Night Football, and it's TJ Reeves right here with us next.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate, Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, Plumbing, and Generators. Right now, we're offering our Choate's Comfort and Safety Special. For a limited time, when you purchase a $99 tune-up, or if Choate's performs a repair, you'll receive a free 1-year standard fan plan membership at $400 value. Keep your home safe, comfortable, and running smoothly all year long with 2 maintenance visits, priority service, and discounts on future repairs. And for our existing loyal fan plan members, we have something special just for you. Enjoy a $1,000 loyalty coupon toward any new generator, tankless water heater, or HVAC system. It's our way of saying thank you for trusting us with your home. Add value, add comfort, and add safety to your home with Choate's. Call us today at 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com. Choate's, let our family serve your family.
Listen to this. 2024 Dodge Durango SRT, $10,750 off MSRP. MSRP. A 2024 Dodge Hornet RT, $8,500 off MSRP or 0% for 72 months. A 2023 Charger Scat Pack, $10,000 off MSRP. And 2024 Jeep Gladiator Sport, $10,439 off MSRP. What do you think about that, Randy?
I think you're rockin', Ronnie. So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram out on the bike or shop online.
RC 126,942, MSRP 90,035. Hornet R380-8452, MSRP 44,620. Charger PH 592,276, MSRP 60,985. Gladiator RL 106,204, MSRP 56,265. Includes all rebates and incentives and excludes PF 695. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Dealer stock only.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does your favorite mixers. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent out to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff, just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, mainly 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Wash your house, wash your office building? Impossible! Not if you call Wilson's Pro Wash. Your house, fence, driveway, warehouse, store, hotel, even cars and trucks can all be squeaky clean and beautiful after pressure washing by Wilson's Pro Wash. Wilson's specializes in cleaning all hard surfaces, concrete, stone, brick, and mortar, even wood and vinyl siding. Then Wilson's can seal their surfaces so they stay looking brand new. Call Wilson's Pro Wash, 1-524-6799, or online at wilsonsprowash.com.
Well, that's what T.J. Reeves is hoping to do, dance in victory, his Bucks in Baltimore, tonight in Tampa. But let's head to Tampa Bay and figure out, first off, how is everybody after you're picking up the pieces from Milton? Let's not forget it's only a week and a half ago when that hurricane hit. How are you? How's the family? Good morning.
We are hanging in there. Thank you for asking. And, again, this is going to be an emotional night for a lot of reasons, with the Buccaneers playing on Monday Night Football in a national television situation with ESPN and ABC to shed more light on the problems, the post-Milton, the post-Hurricane Helene devastation in the area. Again, it's a game, but sports is a great unifier. You know that in that city and in cities all across this country, whether you're talking about the Dodgers making the World Series last night or when the Chiefs are winning a football game or Tennessee beats Alabama like you've been talking about this morning. And it was the same thing for the Buccaneers in the Superdome last week, and I talked to you about that last week. Well, now you have a home game tonight, and this is going to be neat to be a part of, whatever happens. And you hope it goes well, but they're going to honor a lot of first responders. We didn't actually talk about this off the air. They're going to spend a good 5 minutes in the pregame honoring first responders, police, paramedics, fire rescue, military, National Guard that have just been almost on nonstop duty for the last 4 or 5 weeks, Wolo. So
that is fantastic. I got to ask you, even though you may not know the answer to this, but South Florida played at home. Was that
correct?
So that's the first game in Raymond James since they beat UAB. Had to come from behind to beat them, and they're not very good. UAB 35-25. Was there anything special?
So they did. They did some of that also on Saturday. There was not a large crowd on Saturday, but that was a shot in the arm. Obviously, it was not going well for a while, as you mentioned, and this was after the displaced game that you did in Orlando, where they didn't perform very well at all. They came back home. They're struggling in that game, but they snapped out of it. So, yes, Saturday was the first opportunity with the college game. But, truthfully, this is obvious. This is a much bigger deal tonight with the NFL and with the fact that it's a standalone national TV game. And let's be honest, with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens coming in, there is tremendous interest in this. And I keep saying on all of these different interviews, and you guys have appreciation for this, obviously, in the Mid-South, but it's more to the eastern part of the state in North Carolina. I mean, they're devastated there from what happened with
with Helene.
Well, there was a 60 Minutes piece last night about Asheville and north of Asheville. And,
it's horrific.
And it's incredible, the devastation there. Helene
and so what
was much worse than Milton, honestly.
Pardon me. What happens is this gets out of the consciousness of everybody else everywhere else while it's still going on there or still going on in the west coast of Florida for the next few months probably, trying to straighten this out. Now, some will be quicker in these situations, but again, sports can be a great unifier, but ESPN and ABC are going to talk a lot about this in the pregame, and people donating to the different causes can help. It is amazing the outpouring that has gone on, not just in this state, but in the Southeast and nationally, to come to Florida and to help with the devastation that's happened. People losing their homes, losing their business. You're displaced. Where do you live? What do you do? You know, how do you get help with insurance or FEMA or whatever it is? And it's not a few people. It's thousands and thousands and thousands that are having to deal with this. So there you go.
It is interesting. ESPN, I give them a lot of credit. I did a volleyball game on ESPN Plus on Friday, and there was a reader, and it's an ESPN reader about how you give through them to the Red Cross for this recovery from Helene and Milton. So, and that is the beauty. A lot of people are giving. America is great in that regard, but that stuff is still, and we do forget about it, right? Like I brought it up because I know you. Had I not really had that connection, I would have started today with, well, we got a big Monday night game, not even mentioning what is going on. But it is big in the NFL. My goodness, everybody's in it. There's only one undefeated team through, week 7 now? Week 6? Only one, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs, who really didn't play that good last night, but we're able to win their game in a Super Bowl rematch.
Fascinating. They haven't played well in several of their games, and they keep winning. And so the other subplot is the Buccaneers, for the first time ever, are going to be on Monday Night Football 2 times in 3 weeks, tonight and 2 weeks from tonight, in Kansas City. So I pledge to you, with all of my other craziness going on, we're going to try to make a conversation happen on Monday, whatever that Monday is. Is that the 3rd? I think it's the 4th. Because
that's
Monday
the
night,
day before the election, yeah.
Correct. We're in Kansas City 2 Mondays from now. So, and if the Buccaneers get this win tonight, if you and I will not talk before they play Atlanta next Sunday, and that's the throwback game. They're wearing the 1979 creamsicle orange with the white Bucco Bruce helmet against the Falcons, revenge game after the Falcons won on Thursday night in the crazy finish. If the Buccaneers get this tonight, and if they get Atlanta in the creamsicle game, holy guacamole, for 2 weeks from tonight in Kansas City. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Again, from a sports standpoint and a unifying standpoint, you can really get behind this, and I have a really good feeling these guys are going to be ready to go tonight, and it's going to be electric in that stadium for this matchup with Lamar and the Ravens. And as regular season games go, what more do you want than a subplot like this in mid-October?
No, that's the NFL. That's why America loves it. Hey, interesting you brought up throwbacks. I don't know if you saw this, but when Illinois played Michigan the other day,
I saw it.
Illinois had these throwbacks. I don't know how much money they spent on these helmets. They took their helmets, they had to sand everything down, and then they made them look like old leather helmets. First, the Red
Grange, right? The Red Grange era throwback, right?
And I saw the way they did it. Brian, see if you can see the price on each one, because they mentioned it. I can't remember. It was expensive. But the way they did it was they ground it down, and then they fired it up where it was really like shiny. Like a lot of these, like the Notre Dame helmet gets real shiny.
Right, the chrome, like the chrome.
Yeah, like a chrome look, but then they dulled it somehow. It was pretty darn amazing. It was a real helmet, but it looked like a leather helmet.
You know what the most impressive part of all that was? They punched Michigan right in the snout and beat them.
Did.
And so now they are the CBS game again. They're now going to be the game at number 1 Oregon. So the Big Ten's got a lot of relevance, but you're right. I mean, these are the things that we latch on to, the traditions, like Tennessee playing Alabama, like they have for practically 100 years. They played that game. Texas and Oklahoma played a couple of weeks ago. Michigan and Ohio State will play coming up. Auburn, Alabama, same kind of thing. That we get revved up for those rivalries in college football for sure. But yeah, that was a big win for Brett Bielema and Illinois.
Oh, yeah.
They're
It's
in what is
incredible.
a very competitive Big Ten.
Well, you look at it. We were talking about Kansas City, the only undefeated team. In FBS now, you go to the poll, and there's 9 that are undefeated. Oregon, Penn State, Big Ten, Indiana. Who would have seen that?
Mm-hmm.
And the way they beat Nebraska. So that's 3 undefeateds in that league. You've got
Clemson, Miami, ACC.
Right.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, not Clemson. Miami in the ACC.
Miami in the ACC, and the way they beat Louisville was pretty impressive. You've got Iowa State in the Big 12. Guess what? You know the last time Iowa State lost? AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
That's correct.
Our Tigers.
To the Memphis Tigers.
Oh, the other team.
By the way, they've never been 7-0, Iowa State, ever. So what a story that is.
And then Pittsburgh is also undefeated. So that's the other ACC team with Miami. And then
Texas was the last remaining SEC, correct?
So
and
there's
Georgia
none
got
there. That's correct. And then Army and Navy. So just so you know, speaking of going back, Army and Navy are undefeated this late in the season for the first time since 1926.
And you want to confirm you were not covering that season of college football?
I did tell Brian today that was a little before my time, just a bit.
But, I mean, we are staring, I know you got to go, we're staring at the very real possibility that one or both of them is going to be in the American Conference Championship game.
If both of them are, it's the craziest thing
It's
ever.
crazy.
Because they're going to play each other in a meaningless game, because that game, if they play for the title, the winner's going to go to has a chance to go to the playoff, depending on what Boise does.
Navy plays Notre Dame Saturday at noon Eastern time. If Navy wins that game, they are very much on the radar for the college football playoff. Look out.
Go Middies. Thank you, my friend. We'll talk next Monday. Have fun tonight. I'll be trying to find you on the sidelines.
Beautiful. Always great to be with you, and thank you for the kind words. And everybody just hang in there and do what you can do with all of the hurricane help. Be well.
There you go. That is our friend T.J. Reeves down in Tampa. He's brought to you by the Spirit Shop. Yeah, weekend's over. Time to stock up. You want an easy place? It's on your way everywhere. I swear to you, it's right at Poplar and St. Nick, 4848 Poplar, right down from Clark Tower, the little log cabin you've probably passed by a million times. Many of you have probably gone in. You should, because you'll learn all about what's hot, what's not. You'll learn about rare bourbon. You'll learn about an up-and-coming tequila. You'll learn about a middle ground wine and why it is what it is. You get an education, great service, and the best prices right there in the heart of East Memphis at the Spirit Shop. Go in, see Eddie, and tell him we sent you. That'll do it for us. Oh, my goodness, look who's back. John Harden. He's right around the corner. Have a great day, everybody.